Welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Howard Pinsky, design evangelist here at Adobe, joined by a special guest, Kladi, amazing designer who also has some incredible news in addition to all the news that we released today. Ready to drop it on everyone?
More news. So first of all, welcome everybody. I'm so happy and excited to be here with Howard at the wonderful creative part. Yes, we are live from Adobe Max in Los Angeles, and we're so delighted to be able to be with you here online at Adobe Live and get you to join this exciting, inspiring, and wonderful conference. Talking about news, some of you know me, maybe some of you don't know me yet. I'm an Italian designer based in Manchester, UK. I had the pleasure to work with Adobe Live for many years now, and I'm thrilled to announce that this is the first time that I'm actually announcing it live. I joined Adobe as a senior Creative Cloud evangelist, so I'm going to be working with Howard and the fantastic team of evangelists here at Adobe Live. We're going to spend a ton of time here together also on Adobe Live, and I'm here to support you. My focus in this new role is to support the community. We are here for you, so don't be afraid, don't be shy to say hi, connect. You can always find me on my Instagram at @IamKladi, and my goal is to support your creative journey. And talking about creative journey, let's dive into these wonderful new journeys. In fact, today, I will share with you the amazing and quite mind-blowing news that have been shared at the keynote. I'm going to talk about Adobe Firefly and the way that is going to be reshaping the way we work, but most importantly, the way also in which we experience and we express our creativity. In fact, we will be diving into the new features that have been released for Firefly, the one that already went live in September of this year. But most importantly, the feature made by Adobe Firefly, they are now powering tool inside your favorite apps, such as Photoshop, Illustrator, and Adobe Express. So, are you ready with your notebooks? Because this is going to be a very packed session.
And you just nailed that intro. Like, that was one of the best intros I've ever heard on Adobe Live.
Thank you. I'm just extremely excited.
Give some like hand claps emoji in the chat. Before we dive into the amazing things Kladi wants to show, I do want to say a quick hello to everyone who is joining us live on Behance or YouTube. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. We've got Cody and Robert and Masakayo. I mispronounced your name, I apologize. Ashraful, CJ, a lot of different amazing people, and we of course were joined by thousands and thousands of people out here, which is wonderful. All right, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to pass it over to Kladi, who's got some amazing things to show from the keynote and also some stuff that we've released over the past few weeks.
Yes, and of course, give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying this stream. Give us a heart in the chat. We love your love. We are all here together in this community, so let's do this.
Let's do it.
So the first quick slide again, just a little bit of recap. This is what we're going to be talking about. This is the description that you're going to find below. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but you can replay and rewatch this video. Again, do not hesitate to get in touch. I would love to hear from you. And this is the place where you can scan this QR code, which will take you on a landing page that I created for you to summarize all this news. And this is because, again, we're going to dive in quite a lot of stuff, and I understand that it can be overwhelming. So this QR code will take you right away inside, as I say, this landing page that I created, and I'll be able to show you in just a second.
That's a fancy QR code, by the way.
Fancy QR code. So here you have access to the replay of this session, so don't worry if you feel that we're going to be talking about a lot. You can watch it in your own time, from your bed, from your chair, from whatever you want, maybe your garden if you're lucky enough to have some good weather. And here we start with talking about Firefly and Adobe and Generative AI. So if you're completely new in this world of Gen AI and Adobe, well, I kind of like find a little bit hard to believe, but
it's just ramped up like crazy over the last few years. I can't even keep up.
So fast.
I don't know how you keep up. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, let's see if I've kept up. Hopefully, yes, because I hope to share that with you. So those are a Gen AI model that Adobe has been working on in order to revolutionize the way we work. We are required to create a ton of graphics in these days, and we have two options and two reasons to really get to play with these new features. One of them is most importantly the one that work faster. You'll see a lot of boring tasks will be automized, and that will allow you to work so much faster, huge time savers. But also, if you're new to these amazing apps, it's a fantastic playground for you to start to learn the first steps and to navigate in order to have professional results and get to know the app and the way they work. We have 3 models at the moment, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to try to break it down, and we're going to move from that into the Firefly app. By the way, there is a very useful link here that will allow you right away to access firefly.adobe.com, the place where all this fun stuff happen. The first model that we're going to be talking about is, drumroll, the image model. The image model today released in version 2, that means that it's even sexier and allow us to create an even better and enhanced image with a wonderful human rendering, which is improved so much more. Has now been announced at Max. And when I'm talking about image model, what am I talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What am I talking about? So this is a model that will allow you to translate a descriptive prompts, to keep it simple, text that you type, into a form of an image. So the way that I say is, you think it, you type it, and it transforms into pixels.
And what are these good for? Like, if I'm on Firefly's website.
Yes, so let's go there. Let's actually
What can we do
there.
with these images? Or what do you do with these images?
What I do with these images. So I'm going to actually show you. That's a fantastic way to go into my next step. One of the things that I've done, I actually done it for my session. I have 2 more sessions here at Adobe Max. One of them is about creating a media kit using InDesign. And the one that I've been using, the part of the model that I've been using is text to image, which is part of the image model alongside Generative Fill, Generative Expand, and Text Effect and Recolor. And I use that to source images very, very quickly on the go. We were pitching this brand new plant store that didn't exist. And my client had to pitch that to investors. So how can you convey your idea and your inspiration to a bunch of investors that are not like the creative bunch at all? So they couldn't like visualize what we were talking about. Well, that's where this amazing text to image come to play. If you add and click on generate on the text to image tab, you will be able to prompt, which is simply means type in text that describes the image that you wish to visualize. If you struggle to prompt, well, the Model 2 now has an enhancement that also allows you to have suggestion in your prompts. But most importantly, I also strongly suggest you to go ahead and scroll this amazing landing page. Once you hover on the image, you have you can read what whoever is created has typed down, and that's a fantastic way, I think, to learn how to prompt just by seeing what others have been doing. So
yeah, absolutely, because I think what people are going to realize as they start typing in prompts into the text field is that you can really build upon them. So you can type in something like, architectural building, right? But then you can start really customizing the lighting and the colors and the composition in addition to the items you're going to see on the right-hand side in Kladi's screen in a minute.
In fact, let's go ahead and start with the description. The session that I was talking about is all about this plantorium. Again, we were trying to pitch this shop that doesn't exist. So the first thing that I did was to jump into Firefly and then simply describe the vision of this shop. And what I did is literally went into the mission and vision of the branding kit of this brand, which was describing their shop as a lush plant store with geometric geometric neon lights. I hope I'm spelling right.
I can never spell correctly when I'm streaming.
Industrial, modern furniture. So as you can see, this is just a sentence that describes what this shop is about. And as you can see now, Firefly is thinking and looking. And by the way, if you're wondering where is he looking, he's looking inside Adobe stock, very broad. I think there are like 100 million, or I don't know, many images that are there that are already professional grade images. They are safe for you to use, and that's why the Model 1 is safe already for commercial use as per September 2023 release.
And I think that's important to note. When these images are generated, we trained on licensed images from Adobe stock, right? And it's not simply just going on Adobe stock and finding images of whatever this is and then plopping them into Firefly.
Yep.
It's learned somehow through machine learning and AI and all this stuff that I personally don't understand. It's learned how to, I know, it's learned how to create a plant and
Yep.
create these neon lights in the background.
Absolutely.
And it somehow cohesively places these all together. Again, I have zero idea how they do it, but
and
I'm
we
just
don't
happy
need to
it
know.
does.
And you don't need to know.
Yeah, that's true, we don't need to know. And what I love about this, and I do this all the time in my projects, is I often have an idea that simply doesn't exist anywhere. So I'll start on Adobe Stock, I'll browse something for like, a plant with neon lights behind it in an industrial building. It doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
And that's where Firefly really comes into play, because then you can generate something very quickly for your client work and then continue working.
Absolutely, and continue working because you can refine this more and more. In fact, with this Model 2 release that's been announced today, the way that you can refine and tailor and customize the image that you're looking for is gone even deeper. In fact, for example, some of you may know or not know, I really wanted to bring it here today in the mess and fun of Max, I sort of forgot, but I did publish a book about plant. You can find it on my website. And when we were brainstorming this concept, they really loved the illustration that I created for my book. And which I'm going to go ahead and show you just a page in a second.
And while you're pulling that up, we have a few questions from the chat. Which languages are supported with Firefly? So I believe we support about 100 languages currently on Firefly. So go ahead and type in whichever language you speak, and hopefully you're one of the 100. And another question is, if you make a logo or a vector-based design from a prompt designed by AI, can we legally claim it as our own? So you can use these for commercial use. That's very important to note.
Correct.
In terms of copyright, I am not going to answer that because I'm not a lawyer. And of course, as many of you know, the copyright laws are always fluctuating, especially around AI. So I'm staying far away from that. I'm sure you are as well.
And by the way, hang on to this question because we're going to jump into Illustrator and talk about the vector model. Remember at the very top,
yes.
I talked about the image model, the design model, and the vector model. So we're going to jump into this amazing new feature that's been released today, which is text to vector. So hang on and follow us through the ends of this stream because there is a lot of exciting stuff coming your way. So yeah, text to vector is a thing. At the moment is in beta, but let's go ahead and go step by step, so we'll get there as well. So this is some of the spreads of my book that I've created. And by the way, here I wanted to show you, this is what I used to get with Model 1. See, I had like a little plant floating, a little bit of, I don't know what is happening there. And if you see actually the difference of what is actually generated here is already a very, very improved
much cleaner
result.
lines, a lot less artifacts. It's just a more crisp, cohesive image.
Absolutely, so exciting. But what I was saying that now is that with generative match, I was able to very quickly jump in and use my own book and my illustration to tailor and real quick give that vision to the person that I was speaking with, to the investor at the team, because they were really curious to see how that will be, was going to look like if it was in a different illustration style. So we were exploring styles. All I had to do here is to click on upload image at the right side, which displays all the tools that you have here. And then simply browse your folders. In this case here, I have one of the little spread. I'm just going to go ahead and use this one over here. Again, this is a spread from my own book, Plant Therapy. And all I have to do is to click on open. And I'm letting Firefly know that this is my image. By the way, this is going to be recorded in the process. So you will be able to go and identify which image has been used in order to create this new generative result. And let's see what's happening here. So it's now taking in my illustration and is merging it with a prompt and is doing his magic behind the scene that we don't need to know. And in just a second, we are going to have few options at just in front of our eyes, hopefully really soon. Remember, we are at a conference here, but here they are. So look at that.
That's
it's
incredible.
Actually translated my request of having this shop in my illustration style. And I can go ahead and refine even more using all the wonderful options. There are new photographing options, settings that control depth of field, aperture, you can really do so much more. And one more thing, because before we move away from this text to image, you can now also have negative prompts. So usually prompt, and that's my biggest tips, needs to be descriptive. Don't tell what to do, just tell what you want to see. But now you can also tell Firefly what you do not want to see. So now negative prompt is a thing, it works, go and check it out.
Yeah, we do have a quick question from the chat.
Sure.
Can you upload one of your own images to Firefly and add a prompt to change it? So you can do kind of what Kladi just demoed with style match.
Yeah.
But you can also upload your images.
So that's step 2.
That's Photoshop. You can do it in Photoshop. You can kind of change it with Generative Fill. But at the moment, you cannot upload your own image and then manipulate it using Firefly.
That was my next step, because Generative Fill lives also inside Firefly, and that's where we're going to start our journey in between the Firefly. By the way, Firefly is a standalone web app, so it's a new app that is coming on a browser. We strongly recommend you to use Chrome as the best browser to achieve the quickest and best results. And Generative Fills, I'm going to just show you real quick what it looks like here inside Firefly, and then we're going to dive in right away inside Photoshop. So that's exactly what the question was. You can upload your own image. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to I got a cute story for this.
I love
I'm
that.
actually going to share my dog, River. We are trying to have some puppies from River. So she's on a dating kind of matching website, but she's kind of attracting the wrong crowd. So we're really looking for the right bark-gerol there.
See, when you do demos with dogs, you make them cuter, and you add amazing things. I remove dogs from my demos.
No, I heard that.
I'm weird. I'm just the worst person on the planet.
Well, I'm glad I joined the team so I can bring the dogs back.
There you go. See, we kind of balance each other out.
Absolutely. So that's my lovely River. And as I said, with this picture, she was kind of attracting the wrong crowd, too much adventure. We're trying to find the right dog for her. So I really want to showcase her interest and how to do that. I tried to put a headphones on her head. She wasn't having it. The only way that I can do that is by editing the image thanks to the Generative Fill that is powered by the image model of Firefly. So I'm going to show you real quick, and then please go ahead and have fun in this playground on the web. You can decide to insert or remove simply by using this brush. You can change the brush setting, size, hardness, and opacity, and you can move by simply clicking and dragging. So first of all, for example, I want to go ahead and tackle the background. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the background bottom here at the bottom of our workspace. And in one click, that background is gone.
By the way, I don't think a lot of people appreciate what just happened. I've been using Photoshop for 20 years. And I remember trying to remove backgrounds behind subjects, even the most simple of subjects. And it took hours.
With hair as well.
With hair, it's just insane. And now you can literally just click a
button. Bam, click online.
And
we're doing this online on a browser.
Wild.
So I'm just going to go ahead and take her to the beach, because we want to have a little bit of a hair in the wind, sort of fresh feel for our lovely River. And as you can see, all I've done is once I removed the background, I was able to type in the location. Now, before we move forward here, the goal of this stream is to show you how these features are now powered inside your favorite tool. So let's go ahead and jump into Photoshop. Don't worry, we'll come back into Firefly and explore the other models, but how this translates inside a Photoshop workflow. So let's go ahead and open Photoshop. And from here, I'm just going to do the usual thing, just go into open and then find my folder, and again, find the image that I was working with. So in this case, I have my lovely River here. And as you can see, one thing that we want to notice, first of all, is that we do have, I used to zoom here. Do you know how to zoom anymore? I can't zoom on this anymore. Anyway, so we have our new contextual toolbar that's been with us for a while, I think since March already. This is a wonderful new menu. Is there always. You can hide it if you don't like it, just simply by clicking on the 3 dots and hide it. But
give it a chance, because at first it annoyed me.
Same.
But then I started realizing that there's buttons down there that do things very quickly, and then there's drop downs where you can control the selection that you created. And as you're making actions, it's dynamically updating.
Yes,
So
because
give it a chance.
the contextual toolbar is there to suggest you a curated selection of next step depending on what activity you're performing. So depending on the workflow, you have access to different workflow that bring up different tools that also contain the amazing Firefly powered features such Generative Fill and Generative Expand. So let me show you how they work. In order to bring in the Generative Fill feature powered by Adobe Firefly inside Photoshop, you will have to access the selection workflow. And you can do that with any selection tool you wish. You can use the marquee tool, you can use the lasso tool, and anything else. Is there a question? Or?
No, there's a good suggestion from Samuel, actually,
Yeah?
who I met, I think, last year at Adobe Max. I always, where it is, I wish I can lock it to the bottom of my canvas. That would be interesting, actually. I would like to be able to kind of dock it, very similar to how you have the timeline at the bottom, just have like maybe it docked at the bottom as an option.
Well, so far what you can do is you can pin it.
You
so
can
you
pin
can
it, right,
place it in your favorite location, and then again here you can pin to the position, so it's always going to be there. Because that was one of the things that was a bit annoying for me as well, that it was moving around. So let's go ahead and use remove background, which is also part of our selection tool, so that happened very quickly already. And here we will be able now to maybe like remove something else. So for example, I can go ahead and if I want just further remove this other bit if we want, but let me show you how it works later on, because I want to show you the power of Generative Fill, because Generative Fill not only adds, but also removes part of the image in a very seamless way. So I'm going to go here simply, and then you can do different things. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select my entire layer, and I'm going to bring it at the back. So you can now see here, because the marching ends are literally at the canvas, but what I've selected is the entire canvas behind. And all I have to do, I have different way of doing this. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and, click on the selection in order to bring it up, so command and click on the mask in order to select it. And as we say here, the contextual toolbar has a lot of different amazing next step. One of them is, for example, invert your selection. You can do that real quick simply by clicking a button, but you can also do stuff like expand your selection, so you can expand it or contract it if you wish to include more pixel or exclude picture from your selection. So here I'm going to go ahead and simply invert it. So now I have everything but river selected. And as you can see, because we have a selection, you can now access the generative feature. And again, I'm going to bring it back into a beach and show you that this workflow is going to be parallel and mirror what we did in our Firefly playground online. Of course, it takes a moment. You can entertain yourself with the tips. Those are, by the way, very useful tips. I myself learned so much reading the tips that come up while we wait for the image.
I prefer some puns up there, but that's fine.
We should tell the team to add some puns.
One thing that a lot of people have already brought up, because we did release Firefly Image Model 2 on the web app. It's not available in Photoshop just yet. That's something we're actively working on, but eventually we're going to have those higher quality and expanded resolution results directly in Photoshop. But you know, Image Model 2 is still in beta on the Firefly website, so eventually it'll get over.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm here to show you. Those are all interconnected. So as soon as something goes in production, it will be mirrored. And of course, their team are doing an amazing work, really implementing this feature night and day. So just be patient, practice the result on the Firefly Playground, which is the standalone web application. And then you'll be so much more comfortable once you're gonna start to use this feature inside Photoshop. Yep. So right now we added something else, which is a complete new background. And I want to show you again another selection. Let's see if we can add the little headphones that I wanted to add here, because she's into music. She really loves listening to music.
And it's kind of wild how it looks like the dog belongs on that beach.
It's amazing.
I don't know how it, obviously you kind of match the lighting as well, but it's just, it looks like it's natural.
Yes, and that's a fantastic point. So some of the enhancement and some of the amazing positive benefits that you have using this tool is that it matches highlights, shadows, perspective. Yep. And also, as you can see now, the rough selection that I've created for the headphones sort of mirrors the area. So you have different way, and I would strongly recommend you to experiment with selection. check these out. We gave her some headphones. How cool is that?
That's
I love my
pretty
dog
neat.
so much. But as much as happens inside Firefly, even here you have access to different options. So you can simply click one of these arrows. Otherwise, inside the properties panel, you will be able to display all the different variation. You can also edit your prompt in order to further refine it and keep generating until you're fully satisfied with the results. But
and
as
if
I
the
mentioned,
results are not perfect, then at least it gets you like 80 or 90%
Oh,
of the
yeah,
way there.
absolutely.
And remember, once the new Firefly model drops in Photoshop, those results are going to be even better. So things are always improving and evolving over time.
so look what I'm doing here now. I'm going ahead simply selecting an area of the image because I want to show you another powerful use of the generative fill, which is to also remove. So I know that we have the amazing content aware fill. I know that we have the amazing remove tool and also the healing brush, but look how powerful this feature is. If you have larger areas, of course the remove tool is great, but if you want looking for something quite seamless, you can go ahead and click on Generative Fill, and then you can leave the prompt blank. When you leave the prompt blank, you're basically giving Firefly the freedom of generating pixels, and what is it doing at the moment is looking at the adjacent pixels that are located at the bounds of my selection, and he's going to like now create and fill in the selected area with something that he thinks it will be the best option for us.
Yeah,
and I would say,
sorry to interrupt,
Of
but it also
course.
fully understands the image. So it not only understands that there's a dog right behind this leash, but it also understands that now there's a beach behind it. So if it has to fill in with sand or fur or specific items that might be on the dog, it understands those things.
Yeah, it takes it full account of the environment, and therefore it generates pixels and it generates a result that will take the environment in account.
The Wi-Fi might not understand it right now.
The Wi-Fi is like, what are you doing? It's just scrolling around. But we're going to give it a second. We're
These are the
confident
joys
that
of
it's going
live
to get
demos.
that. Absolutely. And you got to, I wish you can show you guys where we are right now. There is, I don't know how many thousands of people around us. I'm sure all using Wi-Fi. Should we just go ahead and give it another try? Or should just, let's see, I'm one of those people that keeps pushing the buttons.
I know.
What do you think? Should we wait
I would say just cancel it.
Just cancel it, and let's see if we can do that again. So again,
Yeah.
I'm just simply clicking generate. Again, this lag is mainly because we are live from the amazing Adobe Max in Los Angeles. I think we're expected over 10,000 people. We are in the middle of the Creative Park, which is where everybody comes and hang out. So that's why probably you have this delay. If not, I promise you, and I invite you to try. Here it is. Yes, it happened. I'm so happy. So as you can see, you have also different options that will allow you to pick which one is the most favorite one. As you were saying,
that
it
almost
just
looks like it added footprints.
Yeah, he added a little foot, that little paws, the little paws foot fit. Look how cute is that. Okay, so something else that I want to show you here is how to use another feature which is part of the image model, which is Generative Expand. This feature is incredible, especially if you're producing content for social media, and maybe you have the issue of always taking picture with your phone, or maybe pictures that are not the right size. Maybe you want to move from landscape to portrait, or you want to change your image maybe for this presentation. How do you use the same image in a different aspect ratio? Well, let's go ahead and jump into the crop tool, because part of the crop workflow is the wonderful Generative Expand. Again, the contextual toolbar is our best friend because it's going to guide us in the way. All I'm going to do is to press the crop tool in the toolbar, or press the letter C on your keyboard. And as you can see here, we already have the Generative Expand button that is showing here. You can choose different ratio, 16:9 or more, or you can simply click and drag to choose the desired image, but also the desired placement of your image. You can also move your image around. And then in this case, unless you want to create a specific environment for your image, again, here as well, I would recommend to simply click on Generate and let Adobe Firefly Magic do its thing. So what it's doing right now, not that I understand the real stuff, but in a more simplified way, Firefly is looking at the image, looking at what's going on, where is your horizon, where is the sky, where is the sand, where is the dog, and then he's going to fill all the areas, all these empty, whatever you see with a checkerboard pattern, those are transparent. There is nothing there. If I was going to go ahead and export this image, it would just be like if you export it as a PNG, a white image with a photo in the middle of it. If you export it as a PNG, it would just be a transparent image of the same size. So let's have a look at what happens if we use the Generative Expand feature with an unprompted option. Again, an unprompted option simply means that I have not inputted any text inside the feature.
I love how you've been able to just like talk your way through this entire progress bar that's stuck right now. And you probably could have kept going for the next 5 minutes.
And I'm probably going to do the same again because it looks like we're going to have to simply, again, this is just a lag that we are experiencing. And let's go ahead actually and choose one of the, take this opportunity to use one of the ratio. So what if I wanted to have this ratio and use River for maybe a presentation? So this is a 16:9, and let's go ahead and see how that works. I'm going to go ahead and click on Generate. Again, this is unprompted, so I'm letting Firefly do its thing and thinking I might not touch it, so hopefully it goes a little bit faster, and I'm going to zoom out if it's possible so we can see the result taking shape. So again, we have empty areas to fill around the image, and what we're looking to achieve is to expand the aspect ratio of the image. I use that so much already.
All the time. It's amazing.
If you're planning like a social media campaign and you just like to do stories, you create your story and then you transform it into a post, you transform it into, again, a cover, anything you want, and the other way around. If you just create a post, you can then translate it into the entire campaign. Now let's hope that this works. Otherwise, we're going to move in and maybe, actually, while this one is working, I know that it's
we'll
quite
let that
cool.
go.
Yeah, you can view the same workflow inside my Instagram page. That's probably like something that is quite much faster if it loads in here. There is a tutorial that is all based in Generative Expand. That's so much easier. My mom took this picture. I didn't like it because Mom, that's a picture of the boat and the sea. Again, I use the crop tool, Generative Expand, exactly what we were doing there, and click return from Generative Expand, and boom, it's generated and filled the pixels. I'm actually glad I had that demo there because that's the way it's supposed to work.
It's wild, isn't it? I mean, we have such a habit of taking photos now vertically because we're all using our phones. And then we want something a little bit landscape, either for like a website header or maybe an Instagram post that's not a story.
Yeah.
And now we can easily just expand that. There you go.
And in the meantime, we let him do his thing, and he's done it, and he's achieved with us. And you can keep going as much as you want. So for example, here, I'm just going to add a little other things. Maybe you want to tell that River is into reading. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little book on the sand, and we're going to try that one more time before we move out of these amazing implementation of the Firefly powered feature inside Photoshop. And we're going to move and display the two other exciting model, which is the design model that will affect Adobe Express, and the wonderful vector model that it will take a massive impact in the way that we work with Adobe Illustrator. So here you have more options of different books, but you got the gist. Go and have fun and experiment, because these will revolutionize the way you work. And don't forget that all these tools are ignited by your creativity and your imagination. So what you have to do is to bring your creativity and power it up with innovation, and you will achieve these fantastic results. So,
all right, so we're going to hop over to Express.
First to Firefly
or
real
design.
quick. First to Firefly real quick, because I like to point out where everything is. Of course, text effects was already there. If we have time, I'll show you how it works at the end as well, but you'll be able to, again, use text to customize your text and create a wonderful text effects. This has been already in Adobe Firefly for a little bit, so that's why I'm not stopping here at the moment. And also recolor. And by the way, all these stuff are all part of the image model. So Generative Fill, Generative Expand, the text to image, text effect, and recolor, those are part of the image model. So of course, the image model too, as soon as it gets in production and out of beta, will impact all these amazing options of using Adobe Firefly. What I was talking about now is a text to vector, and this is the vector model, and the wonderful text to template, which, by the way, our colleague and friend Katrina has displayed in a one. I didn't get it at first, but let's go ahead and jump in Express real quick so we can all understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, if you missed the keynote, definitely go back and watch it. Everyone who was on stage did an incredible job. but some of the text template stuff just blew my mind.
Absolutely. I'm not going to go like in all these details, so please do watch all of them. And also, don't forget that on my landing page, you do have all the details. So everything that I'm going to be talking about is here. So don't worry if you feel overwhelmed. You have time to soak it in, to read, and to explore. So what is this new design model? That the new design model in particular is bringing to life the text to template feature. As you can see, text to image and generative fill, which are the two features that we just explored inside the image model, are already present inside Express. Actually, I believe that generative fill is brand new, isn't it? It's a brand new implementation.
Into Express, yeah.
Into Express. And also we have this amazing and revolutionary text to template. Text to template will allow you to create editable, custom, tailored template by writing a prompt. And
so Robert is asking, is it still 1080 by 1080 for the new Firefly? I believe it's been expanded now. I don't know the exact resolutions, but it's quite a bit bigger. So definitely go to Firefly, generate something with the new model, and then download it. Check out the resolution. It's quite a bit bigger. And like I mentioned earlier, eventually that'll find its way into the version of Photoshop as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So what I'm doing now here is simply using these text to template. I wish I could zoom. I knew that I could zoom before, but I don't know.
Command plus maybe?
New Mac, sorry.
Command plus? Does that work?
Oh, thank you. There we go. I just wanted to showcase it a little bit more. So this is the box that I'm going to be using. And at first, I really didn't get this feature because I thought, hey, this is just like browsing templates. But Katrina has done a fantastic and tremendous job to show us how deeply is the customization of these amazing Adobe Firefly powered feature. So here again, I was working for a client, is an interior designer launching their new business. So they're looking to get a flyer to talk about their launch. So what I'm doing here, instead of like searching and finding a specific flyer for this job, I'm just going to go ahead and start typing interior design. I should have prepared this somewhere and copy and paste. Interior design.
And this is great for people who have a very specific idea, very similar to the Firefly image generator earlier. Something you have very specific, you're looking through the template gallery and it just doesn't exist. So you just want something very quick that you can jump into, start editing, maybe replace some images, maybe add some animation, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm going through my misspells, but an interior design business is offering 20% discount with the code MAX for their opening in Leeds, okay? Let's go ahead, in Leeds in the UK, that's where I'm from.
Nice.
So this is very specific. Mm-hmm. You will not be able to find a template that has all these details.
I'd be impressed.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and click generate and let's see what happens. Now again, here we have Adobe Firefly doing its thing and bringing together all the elements that are already existing in the library inside Adobe Express, but also adding my customized request. And what is going to happen here, we probably didn't put the size yet, but that's even better. Look at that. So is taken in consideration that this is an interior design, so we automatically have images of interior design. Is taking that we have the grand opening, which is the main event, that there is a discount, see, exclusive discount coming for the opening day, and most importantly here, you can generate more results, you can change the format if you wish, so if you want to change these into an Instagram post, you can go ahead and resize it by real quick. And then here we can perhaps even add the name of the brand. So it's called Design FYI. And then let's go ahead and click on generate, and you will see that this is now gonna go ahead and tailored even more my result. So you won't be able to find and to search for templates that have all these elements already. Right. In the past, you could have searched for templates that have some of them, but then you would have to be required to go and kind of like bring more elements together. Well, in here, everything that you need, grand opening, lead interiors, special discount is there. Look at that. You can choose which one you prefer, maybe this one over here, and once you click on it, you can further refine it. Maybe you can use your brand settings to do so much more, such as change the color theme, and much more.
Yeah, and there was a question from the chat, will you be able to apply your brand library to the generated templates?
Absolutely, yes, that's exactly what we're going to go at. So once you enter your editing mode, this is a brand new laptop, so I do not have my usual branding kit loaded, but you're always able to add elements, to add what is called now your stuff, that also not only has the brand and libraries asset, but also allows you to bring things from your own files. So you'll be able to go into your document, into your files. Those are all my Creative Cloud libraries. Let's see if I bring in my brand. This should have some of, here we go. So let's pretend that I own now this entire design business. I can go ahead and click on my logo. And by the way, this is an Illustrator asset. We can go ahead and resize it. We can go ahead and jump in Illustrator and do so many more things.
And it's linked. So if you do make changes back in Illustrator, you can update it directly in Adobe Express and all those changes flow on through.
Absolutely. And as you can see, each one of these elements, you can go ahead and edit, you can apply colors, and of course you can apply the wonderful animation, which I'm just going to show you, just to show you how quick it is before we move out here. But you can add all the amazing animation effects that allow you to create an incredible, wonderful Instagram post that is engaging and keeps people just peeled to your social media. Now, one more enhancement is that translate. If you're a global business or if you're looking to advertise in different language, you do not need to know the language. All you have to do is to detect the first language and then translate it. I'm Italian, as many of you know, so maybe I want to make sure that I can share that in Italy some as well. So I can go ahead and check my Italian language, Chinese as well, why not? And all you have to do is to click on duplicate and translate, and this amazing feature will automatically translate into the different language. I think the problem was with the font, but again, that is the gist. You got the gist. You can go ahead and share it, download it, and that's ready for you to share with the world.
Yeah, some typefaces don't support languages like Chinese or Japanese, but most do these days.
Yes, so it was probably the choice. But don't worry, I wasn't running away from it. You can always, at any time, go back and edit it if that's what you wish to do. By simply selecting on the typeface, you can go ahead and choose maybe like something that is a little bit more legible. You can go ahead and change the image that you want, and you can go ahead and try again if you wish, which why not? Should we just do it?
Sure, why not?
See if that works.
Let's see what happens.
Because I think that font was quite already like geometric. Boom, here it is. I'm glad I did it because, again, it's just a font reflection, but also you learn how quickly it is to replace a font. Now, I know we don't have much more time, but we must dive into that wonderful vector model, part of the Adobe Firefly family. This is going to revolutionize the way you work.
This is exciting.
Honestly, are you ready for this ride? Because
I don't think I'm ready.
This is going to blow your mind. So let's go ahead and open Illustrator, because this is the place where you will be able to access the feature. Again, if you add into my Instagram page, there is a workflow there if you wish to watch that over and over again. But what if? Do you want to be my client and tell me and give me like a little bit of feedback on this?
Yeah, you can imagine a world where Kladi is designing something really cool for your company, whatever, plant-based company, sends over some stuff, and a typical client, right, you have feedback. Make the logo bigger, make it this, make it that, but you also might want to change up some of the assets a little bit. So you might want the plant to be in a different style. Maybe you want it to be realistic, or maybe you want it to be more flat, or maybe you want a pattern back there that scales really nicely.
Or even better, maybe you wanted to match what the previous posts were in order to be consistent and cohesive with your campaign. So those were the one that I proposed to the client, and it was like, well, because that's, by the way, that's still the plantorium, the real plant store that is part of the media kit that I've showed you at the beginning of this session. And once I presented this, his comment was, we're going for a pretty illustrative sort of vibe, so I'm not happy with the photo, I love the color, what I'm not happy with is the photo. Now, I'm not going to spend hours to create illustrations, just maybe for him to say, you know what, I was happy with the picture. So how do we explore and we visualize these different options? Well, with a brand new text to vector, which is the Firefly powered feature inside Illustrator, you can real quick simply go ahead and let's bring it in from the Windows panel. As usual, all the panels inside Illustrator live under the top window menu. Here is the brand new text to vector in beta. And what I'm doing here, I'm just going to go ahead and use one of these blank one. And what I'm doing is selecting the kind of things that I want. In this case, maybe I want a subject, which will be my plant. You can also choose between scene, icon, and pattern.
I love the fact that those are broken out, because those are very different things in the world of vector. So icons, subjects, scene, that sort of thing. It's nice.
So I'm just going to go ahead and have a lush plant. Let's go ahead if I even not spelled it properly. Let's go ahead and spell lush plant. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just simply going to go ahead and click on generate. So now I'm going to let Firefly just kind of like have an idea of what plant is going to create. So I'm not taking anything as a reference, because I want to show you the difference of the first generation that is kind of like freestyle, although it does take into account the colors that are present inside the artboard, but not necessarily the shape. So look at that. This is an editable vector. If I jump into the outline mode, this is scalable, is made of anchor points. This is just mind-blowing.
And what I've been very impressed with is the paths are pretty nice.
Oh,
like they're smooth, and they don't have like 7,000 anchor points. They're decent.
They will, maybe in this case, if I'm sampling the picture. So let's go ahead now and use the same prompt. But in this case, I'm going to use the style picker to use the image, because maybe I want to mirror a little bit of more like a photorealistic illustration, which by nature will be more complex. So let's go ahead and make sure to click on the image with the style picker, and we click on generate. Same prompt, lush plant. I'm just trying different styles.
And this is interesting, because typically when you think of vector, it's very flat. It's maybe there's shadows, and maybe there's a little bit of depth, but you don't typically think of something that's photorealistic. Some people do. They love pushing the bounds, but most of the time not. But being able to just now sample an image and get something that's wild.
So we actually have like an almost, look at that, it just kind of mirrored. And by the way,
and that's vector.
This is a vector. So if I'm not happy here with this background, boom, it goes away. And if I want to scale it, I can scale it out to a building or as small as a business card.
Crazy.
But what if we want to match now the illustrative style that I have over there? Well, again, all I'm going to do is to use the same prompt, but in this case, with my style picker, I will select this vector illustration that I've created. And again, click on generative beta. Now, I'm just going to use, because of time, just the subject, but please go ahead and explore the icon. Maybe if we have time, I'm just going to play definitely with the pattern one, because it's very exciting. But we have subject, we have scene, and we have icon. And those are just simply taking in account the different way of displaying the vector. So look at that. It actually mirrored the same color palette. Look how cool is this. So you can now use that alongside the campaign. And by the way, I can always go back and refine this. But this is giving me the opportunity to come back with my meeting without wasting time, and maybe having the client not liking what I'm doing, because I can visualize it, put in some mood board, and then I can go ahead and create my own and refine these results.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking back to some of the projects I've worked on. I have assets from previously. I have different styles and different designs, but I just don't want to go back and recreate things and then try to match the style manually. Now I can just kind of do it.
Yes.
Just like that.
And
it's
again,
wonderful.
This is vector, so I just spotted like this little path that we don't want here. We can go ahead and delete it, because again, these are editable vector. And one more thing that is definitely worth showing is the pattern. If you click on any shape, an empty shape in this case here, the only difference that I want to show you with the pattern, you cannot take the style, you cannot use the style picker, but you can specify colors. So I specified my color palette, which I have here from my previous illustration, and all I have to do is, again, to use the lush plant prompt. Again, use simple prompt, not more than 6-8 words. Keep it simple, keep it scripted. Don't ask him to do or not to do things. The simple you keep it, the more straightforward the results are, and the more successful the results are. And look at that, look how mind-blowing is that. Is it now generating a scalable, repeating pattern that you're going to be able to use throughout.
That's
look how
cool.
impressive is that. And you can move forward and forward in terms of recolor, or maybe even scale it. I want to show this real quick. And again, we have different options over here. Look how amazing is this, I love it. If it looks a little bit tiny, we can go ahead and move real quick. I know we got just maybe 1 minute before we say goodbye into the transform panel. Make sure here that you select transform pattern only, and then maybe they tell you, Kladi, I want to double it. So all I'm going to do is to use the asterisk and then 2, and then by simply pressing the enter key, the pattern will be made bigger. Again, you can make it as bigger as you want, or maybe make it as smaller as you want, because Illustrator is going to do the math for you.
I wonder how many people don't know that Illustrator and Photoshop can now do math equations inside the text fields.
Yes, I'm dyslexic, so I'll let you imagine how hard is that for me.
Yeah.
But again, those are more examples that I've generated. Those are all vector file, as you can see here in the outline mode. You can scale them, you can do whatever you want with it, because those are ready for you to use. You can implement it in your design, and you can do so much more. Unfortunately, it is nearly time to say goodbye. Again, this is the QR code for you to access the landing page that contains all the ton of information that we've thrown at you. There is also a link to watch the live again. Here it is, so you can come and join us, and also take all the information that we've been sharing here throughout this live. There is so much more coming up here at Adobe Live. You go ahead and tune in on the max.adobe.com, also website to watch the keynotes, to watch the different sessions. Adobe Max is the creative conference, is inspiring, is an injection of creativity. It happens once a year, but trust me, it lasts for a year.
So while we have another minute or so, where can people find you online? And what are you going to be doing now that you're officially at Adobe?
Yes, so the best way to get in touch with me is on social media. I am Kladi on Instagram is the place where I offer one-to-one mentorship, a ton of tutorial. You will see a ton of these things that are already there. They're going to come up. By the way, this is the new feature that is already there. So go and explore this already on my Instagram at I am Kladi. I'm going to be working with this fantastic team of evangelists, Howard, and all the beautiful, gorgeous team of evangelists to support you. We are here for you. We're here to support you. So connect, get in touch, send a DM, comment below, let us know your thoughts. We are here to support your creative journey and to have fun together while we explore these amazing apps. And before we move forward here, remember, those are the 3 new models that we explored together. The image model, the design model that is mainly taking over Adobe Express, and the vector model that is also taking over Illustrator.
Yeah.
And the very last thing, do I have a second to say very last thing?
Yep.
Fantastic. So we have also generative recolor, which you can use both on Firefly and inside Illustrator. Again, I didn't give it a shout out right away because this has already been out since September, safe for commercial use. In this case, you use SVG files. So here, you will export SVG files from Illustrator, and then you can choose any file you want. Let's find one that's got a little bit more.
I love how organized you are. It's amazing.
Let's go at one that's got something more, and we can describe. So this is wonderful if you're creating seasonal campaigns. So those colors are quite nice and bright. What if I want to make it for like a Christmas, winter sort of vibe? And again, I definitely misspelled Christmas, but the idea is that you can use emotion, moods in order to express and change and recolors your vector art.
And while that's generating, we're going to wrap things up. Big thank you to everyone who has tuned in. And we got a lot more content coming up, so stick around, and we're going to see you next time.
Absolutely, and
Thanks,
thank you so
Kladi.
much for joining.
Of course.
And have a good Max. Bye, everybody.
Bye.